And welcome everyone to this week's episode of Craze's Corner. We got, week one is just around the corner. So if you have some drafts upcoming this weekend, like I do, I know I have a few Monday, Tuesday, one on Saturday. You got to make sure you watch this episode beforehand. We're talking about guys we are targeting at their current ADP, and then the next show will be guys that we're avoiding. So you definitely want to make sure you pay attention for that. We got Zach with Ocean State joining us, and Jeff and Will from Media. Welcome in, guys. How we doing tonight?
Doing great.
Yo, Jeff looking fly with the shirt.
Yes, sir.
Media shirt. Love to see
Thank you,
that.
man. Thank you. I got to send some out to you guys, man. I got some. Well, it's coming. It's coming.
There we go. We got right into this here. Guys, we're targeting at their current ADP. I'm going to start us off with Devin Singletary, running back for the New York Giants. Finished on a tear last year after he beat out Dameon Pierce in Houston, like I said he would. Because Dameon Pierce is not good at football. But Devin Singletary, he's all right at football. He's now the number one running back for the New York Giants. He doesn't have any competition in that backfield whatsoever. And he's currently being drafted as the RB 33. So if all 32 running backs were, every starting running back was to be drafted, he still would not be drafted. And I think that he's definitely a shoo-in to be a solid running back too. He's going 96th overall just to prove how far into your drafts you can get him. And if you do a hero running back strategy, which has been popular this year, or no running backs, and you can load up and get running back 2 at the running back 33 value, I think he's a screaming value for me. And I think Devin Singletary, so far, I've got him in all of my leagues, and just because he's going to be super consistent. And I think that's something that can add some value to your team this late in drafts. What do you guys think about Devin Singletary? Are we out on Devin Singletary?
I just took him in one of my drafts. It was an auction. I just waited and waited and waited and waited. So as soon as I got him, then somebody else came behind me and took Tyler Tracy Jr. So I was going to try to get him as my handcuff, but I was like, that's all right. He was kind of like my fifth running back anyway. So I was just like, if he's consistent, it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah. Zach, what do you think about Devin Singletary?
It's tough because it kind of feels like one of those situations where a running back kind of goes to a different team in the offseason coming off of kind of like a rebirth of their career of some sorts, and then kind of just flops in the new city. But with that being said, he is the starting running back, right? So I have no beef with the ADP part. ADP part is great. Especially with, like you said, the hero or zero RB strategy, which I'm on board with myself too. I think grabbing a stud running back and then maybe kind of having a guy like Singletary as your RB2 is not the worst thing if you can get a ton of like stud wide receivers to go with them. So I love the ADP part, but as far as the talent, it makes me a little nervous. But
yeah, I don't think he's like an elite running back, but I think he's good enough, as we saw last year, when given the opportunity. He can get involved in the passing game. The touchdown upside really isn't there in New York, but I think this is a good value that will definitely be able to contribute to your team, whether you're playing him as your RB2 or in your flex. I think he's going to be consistent. Zach, who is the player that you are targeting at their current ADP?
Current ADP that I'd be targeting right now is it's going to be Tua Tagovailoa. As per always, it's a homer pick. I'm not sure what his ADP is off the top of my head. I'm definitely scrambling for a pick here, but I would go with Tua because no matter where he's drafted, he's going to beat that at his as his finish. So I'm not sure where he's going right now or amongst quarterbacks, but I feel like no matter what, he's always disrespected. And the thing about Tua that is intriguing to me is the fact that he'll most likely get off to a hot start, and sometimes getting off to a hot start in fantasy is really important, especially when you're like a super competitive league. You got to rack up those dubs early on in case you get hit with some injuries later on in the season. That way you can at least sneak your way into the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Tua Tagovailoa. Not sure what the ADP off the top of my head is, but if I had to guess, it's a great value.
If I had Wi-Fi in this room, I would pull up his ADP. But currently we're dealing with the whole internet situation.
115.
He can be good for the first few weeks at least as well. Like Zach said, if he starts out hot, even if you transition, you start streaming quarterbacks later on in the season. If Tua can start out hot, he's definitely a good guy. Jeff, you have a quarterback you want to talk about. So we'll let you talk about your quarterback, and then we'll let Will pick which quarterback he'd rather have. Jeff, who's your value?
My value is Jordan Love, man. And again, you must be affecting my Wi-Fi because I was trying to put up his ADP 74. I still think he could very well come out be the QB number one out of all QBs there. I think he can outdo Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, everybody. So for him to be under top 10, I'll go ahead and take him at his current ADP.
Yeah, so Will, which quarterback would you rather draft, assuming ADPs were similar? Would you rather have Tua or Jordan?
Come on, look, it's Tua. Because
Let's go.
outside of being a Viking fan, but Tua later in the draft, there's still good value where Love is going. That I think I can get a better piece in the rest of my team, and still have a great quarterback who can deliver for me, especially at the start of the season with Tua. I like Jordan Love. I think he's in a good position. If I have to choose what quarterback I can get, depending on the way the scoring structure is, I'm probably going with Tua later in the draft than Jordan 2-3 rounds earlier.
Yeah, definitely fair. Both teams have weapons. The Dolphins' weapons are more proven. Yeah. But in Green Bay, they have the younger, guys who are going to hopefully break out this year, whether it's Reed or Watson. We'll see which one it is. I like Love. I like Tua as well. If you can't get one of the top guys, there's definitely some guys you can definitely target later in your drafts. But Will, who's the guy you need to have in your fantasy football drafts this year?
So I'm a little concerned about wide receivers because I think it's crazy. Either quarterback changes or holdouts. And so the guy I'm always getting is Nico Collins. I think the Texans are the one team where there's consistency. You got a quarterback going into year 2 that put up good numbers. I think Diggs, he's going to take some points from them, but I think it makes that offense really dynamic. And when I look at, honestly, Jefferson, Lamb, Chase, Chase, is he practicing? Lamb just signed. Jefferson got to change of quarterback. I like Hill, but I'm not sure at the age. I'm not sold on Brown or Wilson. So to me, I think Nico, those wide receivers in Houston are a safer bet this year for me if I'm picking my wide receivers for my team. Yeah. So I almost feel compelled. I have to get Collins in my draft to really secure my wide receiver core.
Yeah, I like Collins. Collins is who I project to be the wide receiver one on this team. I have Stroud as my quarterback too, so obviously I think that this offense is going to be great. I like Stroud as a value. The only thing I would say when you're drafting Stroud is that takes you out of the ability to draft Tank Dell later. Yeah. Which, Tank Dell's going later. Could he be the wide receiver one? Possibly.
Yeah.
The fantasy points, if you're taking Collins, you're kind of pretty much saying, I'm not going to take Tank Dell later. So that's the only real issue I have with taking Nico Collins is that maybe you can get Tank Dell later and take Drake London, who I personally love, take him instead of Nico Collins, and then go and pair him with Tank Dell. But I'm big on Drake London this year as well too. But he's a
Kirk Cousins, third and 13. I'm gonna throw it to the tight end for 3 yards.
Well,
I like that. I like the Nico Collins pick. I guess it's someone's going to pick the right wide receiver. Just hope that it's the team you draft, because one of them's going to be really good. Probably two of them will be really good. But I don't know. The Texans wide receivers are interesting. I won't go off on a tangent, but yeah, I like that Nico Collins pick.
Yeah, I'm in on Texans wide receivers not named Stephon Diggs.
It's
fair.
funny.
Fair.
A lot of people are just kind of out on Diggs, and I'm just kind of
I'm not
I don't know.
But Diggs going
just surprised.
Diggs is going too early in my opinion. for
Yeah.
what. Like if he was going maybe
Yeah, it's
back where
funny.
Tank was going.
Yeah, I had one last weekend, and Diggs went behind both two wide receivers, which was like,
Oh.
okay.
Wow.
Look, that wide receiver room is deep. They are the deepest wide receiver room in the NFL.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
They still have Mechie, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they cut Noah Brown, who had multiple good games for them last year. They
Yeah.
also have Hutchinson, rookie last year. They have definitely some talent. Probably are the deepest wide receiver room in the league. Hopefully, Nico Collins will be that one because I have him in our dynasty league, and I hope that pans out for me because I also have CJ Stroud. So I got the stack. I'm hopefully going to use both of them to beat you guys all season on my way to the first championship.
How dare you?
I didn't even have to bring him up. It's just the way it felt. But that'll end this episode here. Like I said, we're going to be recording an episode talking about guys we are avoiding at their current ADPs. So go check that one out if you haven't already. Thank you, Zach, Will, and Jeff for joining. Y'all do the Presser app is coming out soon, guys. So you definitely want to go check that out. Stay tuned on our pages. We'll have some ads coming out for it, as well as we'll show you how to use it. You can come ask us questions on it as well, so you can get all your questions answered for sure.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Week 1, let's go.
Let's go.